Welcome back to the Home Recording Show. This is episode 313. And today we are revisiting mic boosters, cloud lifters, all those little products that didn't exist until a few years ago. And now there's a dozen of them. We're doing this because I recently built this kit from DIY recording equipment, the MB2, a stereo mic booster kit, super easy to build. It's like a dozen parts and you can build it in an hour and a half. I did it on a live stream. We can link to that live stream if you're interested in seeing my mistakes and how it eventually works in the end. This has been on my mind. This has been on our list since we started the show up again, because I was seeing all these different products that didn't exist the last time we talked about cloud lifters.
Yeah, we just had the cloud lifter, the Triton FET head, and there were a handful of them. Right.
We talked about the cloud lifter CL1 on episode 112, and also on 217 we talked about the cloud lifter CLZ, which was a variable impedance.
I love that one.
I've had a look around Amazon and Sweetwater, and I've seen the Coda Stealth, the Coda MB1 and 2 with different amounts of gain that they...
The Stealth sounds dangerous.
Yeah. That they add the cloud lifter, the SE Dynamite, Fathead Germanium, the Soyuz launcher, the radial mic boost, Clark Technic microphone booster. There's some shady ones on Amazon and Alibaba, and then again this new one from DIY recording equipment.
And I still have my DIs from Peterson from back in the day that I built. Those
me too.
Fantastic. Great stuff. I miss building all that stuff.
I've got
there we go.
The Ferrite, and I've got the Line 2 amp. These are the old styles, but great stuff, solid, work every day sort of stuff. And their kits are always sold out, but yeah, you can still get those things, get on their mailing list, and you'll be the first to know.
And they're fun, easy projects, and they're
Absolutely
great utility boxes that will last a lifetime.
Yeah, you build it yourself, but the quality, it's easily double, triple, quadruple that from if you were to buy from other commercial products. Let's go back to what are these things? What's the purpose of a cloud lifter? A cloud lifter has become like the Kleenex of these products, right? They were kind of the first. Would you say they invented it, or they just turned it into a product, really?
Well, this has been a circuit that's been around since the 60s. I mean, it's a simple gain circuit, and they were the first ones to market it properly, as far as I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And all it is phantom power going into a box, giving the circuit power, and then that circuit giving you 15, 20 dB of clean gain that you can have next to the microphone. So the way I use it a lot is when I have a 57 on a podium, it needs a lot of gain. And sometimes I have to be far away from that podium. So I will plug in the 57. I will plug it on a short cable into a cloud lifter or a gain boost. And then from there, run a long cable. So you're getting a hotter than mic level signal on that long run of the cable. And then you're still getting that gain of that mic. So you end up getting a much cleaner sound on the other end. And then you can add more gain to that. So you can get a 57 pretty hot, still sounds clean, low noise floor. And it almost sounds like a different mic because you have all that gain you would normally never have.
Right. And I guess having more gain in doesn't, because impedance kind of changes by the amount of gain that you apply, right?
Impedance is a factor, yes. It's a multiplier.
Yeah, so when the gain is all the way up, the impedance is the lowest, I think, and that can change the tone of a dynamic mic as well.
The impedance definitely changes the tone of the mic because it loads the diaphragm, how much resistance is there, and the diaphragm will be looser or tighter. And that's what's great about the Cloud Lifter Z. You can dial in that impedance level, and especially like on an SM7, it'll open up the top end in a way that EQ won't, because the diaphragm's actually reacting differently, which is really interesting. And you'll see on a lot of vintage mics or vintage preamps, you'll have a high gain and a low gain switch. And I like the lower gain setting on dynamic mics and the higher gain on condenser mics in general. But it's fun to be able to play with that impedance loading of a mic, especially with dynamics. They don't affect the condensers as much.
And so because these require phantom power, they don't also pass through phantom power.
Exactly.
But that makes these great for any dynamic mic and any ribbon mic. That's not,
which is also technically a dynamic, but
yeah, mics with a low output level.
Yeah. And if you have one in line all the time, if you're using a lot of ribbon microphones, some of the early vintage ones, you will blow up the ribbon because they don't have a protection circuit. Right. So this won't pass phantom power. So it might be a nice little buffer for you too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. When we started the podcast, or when we did the first episode about these things, show 112 was 2011. And that was the first one we saw on the market. The Trident Fathead came after that, and probably within 6 months or so. And we're seeing that all over the place now.
Well, they're extremely useful.
Yeah, but there's a wide range of prices. There's a wide range of designs in terms of physical shape, whether it's a little box that you plug XLRs into, or whether it plugs into the mic directly, like the Dynamite from SE or the Fathead. Those plug right into
in
the
line
mic.
Barrel.
The Clark Technic ones like that. Yeah, just browse Amazon. You'll see a lot that are like that, and others that are just like these rugged boxes that you plug a short cable into.
And the circuit's simple enough, especially with surface mount technology, to make it small.
Yeah.
It's not some crazy magic voodoo thing. Like John said, it was 8 or 9 parts.
In this kit, it's 16 resistors and 6 transistors, plus the 4 jacks. Spent longer on the screws, probably.
And it's always the jacks in the case that cost more than the actual circuit doing the work.
Yeah. So, and it's a custom circuit board that they designed, and it's a piece of art in itself. So, you pay for that as well, but
yeah, you don't want to hardwire that together yourself.
No, it's the transistors would be a huge pain. But it's such a simple circuit, and it's effective. I figured we'd mention it again on the show. It's a good reason to come back to this topic.
So this is the kind of thing, if you wanted to build it yourself, you can go and change specs. You can change the impedance loading. You can change some of the values, and you can get different results. So that might be what we're seeing in the market, is very slight variations on a theme to get different results. And that's what I like about the Cloudlifter Z, is you have that knob to change one of those variables in real time on the circuit. I would imagine most of these circuits are hardwired for a very specific input impedance, and that doesn't change. And that will give you a flavor, if you will.
Right. There's a product, one of the companies, they actually offer these in different color options, like EQ or saturation built in. I found it. Tierra Audio from Madrid. They have 7 varieties of these. Truffle with 32 dB of gain, germanium diode, harmonic saturation, Cocoa for 45 dB gain boost, mid-focused EQ curve and analog de-essing, Mint 33 dB gain boost with bright EQ curve and soft even harmonic distortion, and on and on. And
so they're adding additional small circuits that are easy to make as well, all in one package.
Yeah.
I would like that better if they had the gain boost and their flavor package separate, and you mix and match them. Yeah, or as a switch. Like, here's clean gain, or you can switch in this circuit, or just make those modules just clip on together so you can mix and match.
It's interesting that these range from 28 dB to 51 dB of gain. And I guess that's just probably based on the amount of saturation that they're allowing.
When you're going to distort it, then you can blow up the circuit.
Yeah,
so they probably went,
that.
I could get 900 dB of gain on this. It just sounds like a jet engine.
Right. So it's interesting that they're offering these, and one application I've seen besides the dynamic mic option is to take tracks from your mix. Let's say you take your kick and snare mics on line level outs. I guess you'd have to go into something to convert them, if not just a cable, right? Yeah, and then into one of these, and then you've got some coloration, and then back in through a mic preamp. Yeah, you can get some different color. You can push them harder. You can push your preamps harder if you want some on line level sources. You can push stuff harder. So that's cool. The brand Soyuz, they do use a more colored transformer based circuit. They say custom transformer and secret analog circuit, which odd, but I've heard good things about it, to be able to push a mic preamp with a mix or already recorded stuff.
Well, and that could be a totally different design too. If there's a transformer involved, then they could be doing something else very different. So a gain circuit with a transformer would be more of like a portion of a preamp design to do the gain. So that might be something completely different than the MOSFET gain that we traditionally see in these kind of circuits.
Could be. On the website, they've got a photo of it, and it's like jack, transformer, and then another jack, unless everything's hidden inside the transformer.
Well, transformers can give you different windings to give you different ratios. And
if it's custom built, they could always hide stuff inside it as well, additional circuitry inside.
I don't know if they would. I think you might be begging for trouble if you're trying to hide something inside of a giant magnet. So
other applications of this?
You could do this on a condenser mic too, by having an inline in phantom power close to the mic, and then running the phantom power coming from your preamp to power the cloudlifter. I have a little box. It's a 9-volt battery you could pop in it. It'll give it phantom power on any source. And it's just XLR in and out. So you could, if you needed to, get a lot of gain on a condenser mic for some reason, do that. So you're going to just have to do phantom power on both sides of that box, and that would work.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's probably come up somewhere in conversation.
Makes your brain explode.
Yeah, you don't see the standalone phantom power products in use that much because, you know, every mixer's got phantom power, every audio interface, and field recorder has phantom power. I have them
because I can use that to convert any of my wireless into a wireless boom. So it would be boom into this box, giving it phantom power out of that box into any regular lav transmitter.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So that's like, if we need a third boom last minute, I can build one because I only have 2 plug-on transmitters for 2 boom ops. If we need a third boom, there's a lot of other things that are going really wrong.
Right on. Okay, so we're going to have some links to where you can buy these, especially to Peterson at DIY Recording Equipment kit.
Yeah, go take a look at Peterson's stuff. That's been a bunch of fun stuff to build. And I built mine, 10, 12 years ago now, or at least 10, right?
The DI box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those things are still kicking around and still get use.
Yep, I'm still using mine. My ferrite DI box is on my pedal board pretty much permanently, just to have the option. Nice transformer based. What is that? Is it Cinemag transformer as well?
Yeah,
so, really good
quality stuff.
A bit of a shorter episode, but yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And if you want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/HRS podcast. Buy us a virtual coffee for $5 and get your name at the end of the show and in the show notes. Thank you so much if you've already donated. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.